All right, we're live. Sorry, guys. Let me switch over to the AirPods. There we go. I think it's on AirPods. Is it on AirPods? I can't tell. Thanks for coming, everybody who's already here. Sorry, we're a bit late. Actually, Justin is getting a drink for us, and let me see. Sorry, let me open up the actual YouTube. There we go. Let's mute that. Charles, you did not come early. You came on time, and we are late. So, find the other. Here it is. Let's do that. Thank you guys for coming. This is Sound Theater Live, coming from the Fancy Schmancy Driscoll Hotel, Austin, Texas. We're having a great time right now. Just dicking around. We actually just got done. Scooting around the city. We were on electric scooters. We did like the Uber thing. Uber's got their own. There's Lime. There's Bird or something. Flappy. I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, it was surprisingly fun. And surprisingly, it takes a little more coordination than I thought it would to actually use these stupid scooters. So I just sent Charles an invite to our Google Hangout. He'll be here with us soon. And yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so Danny asks, are we on vacation? Not really. We're kind of on vacation just for the weekend, but once the week starts, we're going to be recording music out here with Harem Cooper, Brian Ritchie, and one other gentleman whose name escapes me. He's a drummer. And we're going to be recording music for We Could Be Heroes. So, really looking forward to that. I just love that we are recording more music. And Justin's a really great pianist and a great singer, although I don't think we're going to be singing for these particular songs. Anyway, Sound of Theater today. Requests Only is all about The Grateful Bard by A.J. Wiseman. The Blackout, the player Blackout. I'm sorry, I forget the author's name on this one. The player Blackout by Lucas Flint. Sorry, Lucas. And of course, The Heroic Villain by Charles Lena. Brand new series by Charles. So I think we'll just wait a little bit for Justin to get here with the drinks. And then we'll get started. My glasses cleaned. Good to clean this AirPod for him. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes, very swanky. Look at this place. Look at this place. Fucking ridiculous. And I don't know, you guys can probably hear there's live music happening right now in the lobby. So Breaking Bard 2 is coming soon. Also cool. So is Del Hutto, is that AJ Wiseman? You joined us. Okay, so looks like Justin's taking a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. I think what I'm is that Charles?
Yeah, and I can't. My camera's apparently not working yet, so give me just a second more.
Okay, cool. Well, Charles is here, everybody.
Where?
They're in Texas.
Hi, Charles.
We were supposed to go with them, but you were out of state still.
Oh.
Just give me a second. Oh, I had a. Oh, here it is. This should do it.
All right, so I gotta look up our requests, and I think we're gonna start.
I think I see, dude. There's like this really handsome guy attacking you from behind.
Uh-oh.
He's about to give it to you. If you know what I'm talking about. He's giving it to you twice.
I'm clenching my butthole.
You should be. It's gonna be rough.
Charles is here.
All right.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Hey, check out my goblet.
Old fashioned.
You got a goblet?
Mm-hmm. We used to host goblet parties where we would have 5 or 6 Marines come over for my wife's friends, or my friends would come over, and we'd have everybody have a goblet, and we would just play drinking games with them. And my mother would throw a fit because she was like, "Those are nice silver goblets. You're not supposed to use them." And I was like, "Yeah, but the wine tastes better." I mean, it actually has a effect on the wine when you hit it with silver.
Yep. Oh yeah, no doubt.
I've never tried it. I've never tried drinking.
Me neither. But if it's anything like beer out of a can / out of a glass, big difference.
I'm sorry. I'm going through my email, and it says
I can send you it, don't I?
No, you did not. It says
no. I said I need
punch.
to.
Yeah,
and I got a picture I need to show you too.
Okay.
Sorry, Charles, we can't show this to you. Google services is down. What?
Rectal Punch is now following me on Twitch.
Rectal Punch.
Rectal Punch. So thank you, Rectal Punch, for following me on Twitch. Even though we haven't done Twitch in forever, we do want to go back to Twitch then. So it'll be happening.
How do I send this to you? As a PDF, I guess?
PDF works.
How do I share this?
Okay, so what are we going to start on? So we got the player Blackout.
Okay.
We got Breaking Bard.
Breaking Bard, yep.
And then we have Heroic Villain. I think maybe Heroic Villain should be last. That's Charles's.
Okay.
Save the best for last. What do you think, Charles?
No, I'm not going to be awake for super long, and I've got an event with Dave.
Okay, well, why don't we just start with you then? Hurry up and get your shit
the right Gmail. I'm just double checking before I send this.
Send it to soundbooththeaterlive@gmail.
Oh, okay. Let me try that. I don't have that one auto-pulling. Are you sure this one's not right? Just put it in the G-chat. Look at the G-chat. That should be you, right?
Oh,
I guess you can use that one.
There we go. That's better. I can see.
Here, I'll forward it to you. I was going to use the iPad, but I forgot that for some reason it won't let me connect to Wi-Fi. So.
And I'm also going to send you the cover that we have at the moment for it.
Oh, cool.
Almost done with the cover. We've got to add in some text, and we got to fix some ears really quick. But it's looking sexy.
Fix some ears. Thank you.
There you go. I can load it up on my screen if you don't mind.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, shit. Got to close all these porn tabs before I hit share.
Yeah.
Do that. All right, I am forwarding the script to you, Justin.
Sweet.
Don't have to...
We're live right now, right?
Yeah, we are live.
So, hello,
It's
everybody.
always good to make mistakes on air so that other people can see your failures and feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
That's the important thing, yeah. Hey, so a little bit of an update, I guess. Have you already updated them?
On what?
Our trip here,
Oh,
what
yeah.
the heck we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I did that
Our
while you're done.
meeting with our friend yesterday.
A meeting with our friend.
Yeah, Sarge.
Sarge, of course.
We met Sarge. Come on, man.
My brain is not working today.
We
Sarge
drank a lot
was-
of alcohol last night.
Sarge was a delight.
He was a delight.
He's a good guy, man.
We had a lot of fun.
so
We played
glad.
some pool.
Yep.
He pretty much kicked our butts at pool. But he ended up losing on the 8-ball. But we all know who really won.
I have to tell myself that pool doesn't count.
Oh, hold up.
Pool doesn't count? Or
that
the
is-
8
I've got to
pool?
always be like, pool's not a real sport because I'm so bad at it.
Yeah.
Is Joe.
Oh, yeah.
My buddy Richie is amazing at pool, and he had a pool table with him for like years in his basement. So it's like every time I'd go over there, I'd just get my ass kicked, and I'd be like, you know what? Pool's not a real sport.
So,
how you liking that cover?
It's amazing.
Beautiful.
It's amazing. Is it the same artist as Wilderness?
Yeah, it's the same artist we've been using.
Of course. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So I'm going to point out, this is going to be the main character. His name is Lucas. And this character's name is Bonnie. And this is, I forget the exact spelling, but it's like Sabah or something. My wife can pronounce it properly, if I can get her in here for a second. But it literally is a word we were using as a joke because it sounds like a really cool word. But then when you look up the English translation, it's to put your finger up a hen's butt to see if she's ready to lay eggs.
Wait, what word is that?
Hold on a second. Sarah? I'll get her in a second. But it's the spider's name in the book.
Is it called rectal puncher?
Rectal punch, yeah. Rectal punch is the word.
Hold on. Woman! She still can't hear me. She usually yells back at me. Something offensive, too.
I gotta remember that we're in public.
Yeah.
There's like a family walking by.
The Arabic word, the spider name that we went with?
Sabah.
Sabah?
Yeah, Sabah.
Okay.
Sabah.
And would you like to tell them exactly what it means?
So it means to insert one's finger into the hen so as to check whether she's ready to lay eggs.
Okay.
There's got to be an easier way. There's got to be an easier way.
There probably is.
Ask.
So you guys don't know this, but the first phrase I learned in Arabic was basically how to say "I love your boobs."
Really?
Oh, really?
Oh, that's sweet.
Can you share that with us?
Anna.
I don't know any Arabic.
So if you want to say you love something, it's Ana Oheb, and then if it's Bizaz is like boob, but you add the K at the end to specify your boob. So it's Ana Oheb Bizaz.
Ana Oheb Bizaz.
Bizazik.
Bizazik.
Bizazik. Ana.
Now, my pronunciation is probably terrible. I haven't said that quite often because I don't hang around enough people to be like, "Yo, I love your boobs" that are Arabic. But
True.
I had a friend who was from Egypt. He went to grad school program, and he was like one of those people that was escaping a horrible situation. And he comes in and he's like, Charles, I'm gonna teach you some Arabic. And he just says that to me, and I was like, what's going on? And he was like, well, I just wanted to tell you, Charles, I love your boobs. And I was like, what?
That's
okay.
sweet. It's very kind.
He's like, for a man, you have nice boobs. I was like, I don't know what to say about this. Like, come on.
You say thank you. It's a compliment.
Okay. All right. Before we get started narrating this thing, Charles, tell us a little bit about this new book and the characters that we're going to be encountering here.
Okay. So there's going to be, I made a slight slow pacing on this book. I didn't want to front load it. So the first characters you're going to see in the first chapter, you're only going to see 2 characters that are going to be the good guys, maybe 3. But the character, the main character's name is Lucas. And as you can tell from the very first paragraph, he basically was a CEO of a really nice company. And his wife died, who was the co-founder of the company. And so he retreats into just playing video games. That's his thing. But he doesn't actually play the video games. He just kind of mopes like a sad sack, I guess, if that's the right term. We've all been there when we've lost somebody and there's that period or phase between when the person's died and when you get over it. And the closer you are to the person, if it's somebody you don't really care about, it might be a 5 minutes. Oh my God, that person died. Will there be cake at their funeral?
Yeah.
If it's somebody you know really well, that can hit you for a while. And when I was in middle school, I lost somebody really close to me. One of the people that I sat next to every day. She was just the light of my life sometimes when I'd come in there, and I'd love hanging out with her. And she was one of the things I looked forward to most about going to school. When she died, video games were my escape. And so this book is kind of my writing then. So Lucas is going through that phase of using video games to kind of get over losing a person in real life that's close to him. And then there's going to be 2 more characters, which I don't want to I don't want to spoil anything, but So I'm not going to tell you a whole bunch about the characters, but there's the NPC that is you're going to meet right at the beginning that just happens to look like his dead wife.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There may be a plot twist on that, so I don't know.
So how about
Starting right from the top?
Yeah, we'll start from the top. Justin, you want to play Lucas?
Sure.
That's our MC. I will do the narration. I'll do
Lucas
what's
Dukas.
what's the name of this female?
A condom. Did that happen?
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like no.
It's disguised as lens cleaning wipe.
Yeah.
Oh, are you sure it's not a condom?
I've already used it.
Yeah.
It's already in the time.
Are you using it right now as we
Yes.
speak?
I am using it
Using the
right,
condom.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to see what's happening under the table.
Right. Or maybe you do, but we're not going to do it.
No.
All right. So, what's the female's name here?
I can't pronounce any Chinese words. I just turned to the paper. I was like, you know what? I always feel bad because I have a ton of readers and beta readers who are Asian. So I'm like, I want to throw Asian characters in there just to be polite to them. So it's not just like Bob, Joe, and Jack. But I can't say their names. Like I got a friend of mine who's I've hung out with him for 4 years. I still can't pronounce his name.
Oh boy.
I'm tone deaf, so like a Chinese name just goes right over me. They're like, "No, you have to you have to pull the tone up here," and I'm just like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I can't hear tones. Have fun."
Okay, so how do you spell her name? I'm not seeing it.
Which character?
The first female.
So the first female's character's name is actually okay. This is gonna be easy. It's Dawn. You're not gonna probably get further than that.
Dawn. Okay, and then do we have any other characters?
There's Valerie.
Okay.
She's kind of like a weak-looking elf, or as we call them in this book, because we went with the Germanic titles. So we went with Alfer, which is basically just the original way to say elf from like the root of the English word root of it. So there's Valerie. There's Malik, who is based on a real person, so his voice has to be somewhat specific. And let me think. There's Dawn, Valerie, Malik, Nick. Oh yeah, there's Nick, and Nick is based off of Nick Coons.
Okay. All right. So
in
this
terms
is
of like accent. Like I heard Nick Coons' voice when I was hearing him. Nick Coons is much more likable than the person in the book.
Okay, so this is a really huge PDF. It's like 24 pages.
No,
so
it's
where
only
should we
one
start?
chapter, bro.
What?
It's only one chapter.
Still 24 pages.
Yeah, it's still 24 pages. We
What's wrong with you? That's not
other
big.
people need time. All right. That is how many words is this?
It's only like 13,500.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be
3,000.
2 hours
is the rules
of narration.
Here. Yeah.
3,000.
3,000 is the rule, sir.
That's
So
not
we
even
can
a
do less
chapter. Like,
to this.
No, it's not a single chapter. It's not designed. Well, not for you at least. Oh shit. Okay. Sorry. I'll have to call him back. All right. So let's go till what's a good place to stop?
pretty much anywhere you want. If you go 2 or 3 pages in, you'll have some good stopping points. If you go 4 or 5 pages in, you'll have some good stopping points.
Yeah, let's just go. And
Okay,
then
we'll
see.
just, okay. So I'll do the narration. Justin will do all the male characters. I'll do all the female characters.
There's a quest dialogue that pops up on the 5th page, so that's probably a great place to stop too.
Okay.
That's 2,700 words in.
What is the sex of the news anchor?
You know what? Just have fun with it.
Okay.
Let's do that.
This is not a character that's going to repeat in the story. It's literally just a news anchor. So if you want to make fun of Bill O'Reilly, if you want to like throw in some like, what would be like a really weird news announcer that has a distinct voice?
Tom Brokaw.
Sure.
What's
That's a real thing. What's a Canadian news anchor?
A Canadian
Ira Glass?
Ira Glass. Okay, he's definitely not a news anchor, but you can do it anyway.
Okay.
That'd be great. Okay, so you start off, man.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. This is The Heroic Villain by Mr. Charles Dean.
And in today's news, despite founding CEO Lucas's abrupt retirement following the death of his wife and company co-founder, Lu Yu Enterprises is on track to grow for its third consecutive quarter. The news anchor on the television announced.
No.
What?
I'm the narrator.
And I'd like the admit, like, if you could narrate it just like you did War Eternus, man. I fell in love with that narration voice.
All right. The news anchor on the television announced.
Is this
Lucas. Yeah.
Why do you do this to yourself? When has watching the news ever done anything more than leave you upset?
Lucas grimaced and shook his head, deciding that it was best to listen to the voice of reason in the back of his mind. He pushed himself up from the chair he was seated in, turned off the television, and shuffled over to the dive capsule in the next room. The machine only took up about the same amount of floor space as a large love seat, but it was by far the most dominant feature in the apartment and loomed over him at 7 feet tall. The user capsule was reclined back at a 45-degree angle. The door unsealed itself with a small hiss when he pressed a button on the front of the pod. Out of habit, Lucas looked around at the massive internet. Fluid and diagnostic cables that sprouted from the rear and crept across the floor before disappearing into the wall. The company had tested running the machine wirelessly and had even allowed users, God damn it. The company had tested running the machine wirelessly and had even allowed users to provide their own internet connections during the device's beta 8 years ago. But the mental trauma caused by rubber banding at even the slightest bit of lag in a virtual world was so severe that professional therapists had to be hired to consult with the testers. Even today, when virtual reality has become standard in everyday life, those few early adapters still refuse to even come close to the machine. Lucas crawled into the machine and turned it on, and he was immediately greeted by several messages that were both displayed as text and read out loud. The melodious female voice made even the drabbest and dullest of notifications sound pleasant in her British accent, which was why he had picked it out. "You have missed 4 missed calls from Lou," she chimed. "Would you like to return her call before beginning immersion?"
No.
"You have 37 emails from 19 different sources. Would you like to review them before beginning immersion?"
No.
"You have 2 text messages from your mother and 1 text message from Lou. Would you like to read them before beginning immersion?"
No.
Read me the text.
Oh, what's that?
Read me the next.
You have 2 next?
No.
Read me the 2 text messages from my mother.
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry. I'm working with a script that, like, you can't even see. Yeah, I can't flip it that way.
Yeah?
No. The text is very small for me.
It's fine, dude. I have to put the font on my phone. Like, my computer screen, the font is at 195% so that I can see it.
Oh, really?
I have the screen blown up so that I have to, like, occasionally scroll right to left.
That's weird that it won't go.
Yeah, if it could go landscape, it wouldn't be so bad. But okay, all right. I'll read the line. Read me the next 2 text messages from my mother. Delete the one from Lou.
Text message 1. "Are you still moping in your apartment on that damn game? It's been over 7 months. You need to get outside and exercise. I don't care what that propaganda nonsense says about the machine exercising your body better than you ever could yourself. You need real physical exercise. And make sure you're eating real meals. Don't just let that machine feed you. It's just creepy when people use those in-game meal services instead of the real thing. It's like they're some kind of vegetable in a coma just waiting to die." End of message. Would you like to leave a reply?
Not yet. Read me the second message from her first.
Text message 2. "Lou called to check in on us again today. She said you still aren't returning her calls. You know that she was only doing what she thought was best. Why not cut her some slack and forgive her already?" End of message. Would you like to leave a reply? Lucas cricked his neck as he stared up at the text for a second.
She's still checking in on them once a week? Whatever. It's not my problem. Yeah, let's leave a reply.
Excellent. What would you like to say?
Tell her I'm still eating real meals. I'm still taking walks every day. I'll come back and visit on the holidays. Love you, Lucas.
Well written. Your message has been delivered. Would you like to wait for a reply? We'll begin immersion now.
Just begin the immersion process.
Please close your eyes and relax. Immersion process is starting. Voice became softer as a slick gel began filling up the dive capsule. And piece by piece, his naked body was taken over by the liquid and the machine. He felt the system begin to access his brain a few seconds later as his ears were filled with music from one of his favorite composers, Vivaldi. You may now open your eyes, the system notified him. Lucas did as he was prompted, and the tech display that he had been looking at moments ago from inside the capsule was replaced by a sea of flowers that stretched up a long hill. The sweet, fragrant smell of so many different blossoms assailed his nose as he took in a deep breath of crisp, clean outdoor air.
Perfect.
Lucas smiled, savoring the aroma of the world around him. He pulled the pack off his back and reached inside, retrieving a few of the things that he had prepared before logging out. A wheel of cheese, 2 bottles of wine, and a blanket. I see you.
This is the character Dawn.
Okay. But she's not British, is she?
No, she's definitely not British. She is actually a descendant of, like, the voice will be like the descendant of, like, think about like an immigrant American, you know, from Asia.
Okay. I see you're getting started early today, a sharp female voice said from behind him. Lucas replied without looking up from the work that he was doing, laying out a blanket.
Takes a great deal of effort to lie around and do nothing all day. You have to put in a lot of preparation to do it right.
After almost 2 years of steady practice, I assume you are the expert on the matter. She walked up and flopped down on one side of the blanket, not leaving much room for Lucas to lie down.
Are you inviting yourself again today?
Lucas asked. Of course. I have to study hard if I want to make it into the upper echelons of apathy and join your ranks, Master.
Whatever.
Lucas replied with a shrug as he lay down next to her. You're just letting me use your blanket because you're too lazy to shoo me off, aren't you? She asked, scooting closer to him.
Your words, not mine.
Lucas reclined back and stared up at the sky, letting his eyes slowly close and enjoy the feeling of warm sunlight across his face. He remained that way for a long time, simply enjoying himself until he got hungry and took a bite of one of the cheese wheels he had brought with him. Mine, the woman declared. She snatched the cheese from his hand, took a bite from it, and then tossed it back to him.
You should really learn to bring your own if you want.
Lucas's words stopped cold when the sun's warmth was suddenly cut off from his face. There was a chance that it was only a passing cloud, but he knew better. The weather in Hess was perfect. The only thing that could make shade was a person standing over him, but no other NPCs came this way. That meant that the individual blocking his light had to be a player, and players always spelled out discomfort. They always either wanted something from him, or they wanted to do something to him.
Hey, brother.
A gruff voice grunted down from above him.
We're short one member for the opener quest. Don't wanna. Come on! The only other person here who hasn't done the class assignment quest. Just help us out so we can get the full player party buff that comes from not using NPCs.
Oh, who's the second voice?
I forgot to actually mention the name on that. That is going to be Valerie.
Beautiful.
Why are you even bothering with him? I told you to just grab an NPC. The second voice whined. Lucas mentally added a +1 to the tally of people annoying him and blocking his sunlight. Negative hasn't killed a thing since he started playing, and he's been playing way longer than us.
Negative.
It was his nickname.
Oh, that should be you, I think. The narration.
Should it?
Yeah.
Negative. It was his nickname and claim to fame in the game. The moniker wasn't exactly creative, but it did hit the nail on the head. Rather than being related to his instant rejection personality, however, it was given to him because of the fact that he was negative level 71, which was an incredible feat that made him a unique entity in the game. One of the penalties in Hess was that it actually allowed a player to regress in levels if he died too many times. The cost of dying grew progressively larger at the higher levels, meaning that a player could take a fairly substantial hit to his experience if he died. In the early stages of the game, however, someone had to die between 3 to 5 times before the system would punish him. The class quest was one of the first that a player could pick up, and it was also one of the easiest. Most people would finish it within the first half hour of playtime and reach level 5, so no one had ever actually gone into the negative levels aside from him. His achievement had earned him a great deal of ridicule from other players, but he didn't care. The only things that he was concerned with was lying out in the sun every day, enjoying the fragrant aroma of flowers, and partaking of his wine. He had become such a permanent fixture on the hill that he had to occasionally deal with some jerk who wanted to kill him just to see if he would drop any money, or if he was some secret event, or some who just wanted to kill him for the fun of it. But that was the extent of anything he was ever bothered with.
Well, there's a first time for everything. Come on, Negative. This system told us you're the only other player right now that hasn't done the quest yet, so it'd really help us out.
The gruff guy pleaded again.
Yeah, come on, yeah.
That's Valerie again.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, come on, yeah. Please.
The sweet-voiced woman begged.
So many voices, so many annoyances.
Having a conversation with so many people just felt problematic and cumbersome to him. Lucas squeezed his eyes tighter and turned over onto his side, leaving his back for the others to deal with. He knew the rude gesture was likely to tempt their anger, but it was almost certain to get his point across. Now they'd either politely leave or kill him, but the effect would be the same. He'd be free from their pestering.
If you don't go with them, then I won't be here to bother you tomorrow or the day after.
The woman lying next to him on the blanket said, causing Lucas's eyes to finally shoot open.
What?
Lucas rolled over and turned to look at her. Resembling a famous Chinese actress with long legs, a petite figure, and long, sleek black hair, she was the most stunning and beautiful NPC on the entire island, at least as far as Lucas was concerned. She had encouraged him to do stuff like this before on more than one occasion in the past, but that was simply relegated to something simple like picking up a crafting profession. This type of request accompanied by a threat was completely out of the ordinary for her.
Don't be dense,
she scolded, reaching up to tap her head with an index finger.
I spoke clearly. If you don't go help out these valiant young heroes, then I won't be here tomorrow. It's in your best interest. You're going to have to do it eventually.
The whiny-voiced male groaned, prompting Lucas to twist his head around and stare at him. The lanky fellow with spiked hair looked down at Lucas and continued.
Wait, isn't she...
Yeah, I'm confused.
The girl from the group interjected, prompting Lucas to turn his attention to her. She was a willowy, frail-figured alpha with slightly pointed ears, and she puffed her cheeks out and stood with her hands on her hips, staring down at them on the blanket.
Yeah, she's, Dawn's right.
The gruff voice agreed. The large, barrel-chested man that looked like a fat 6.5-foot-tall dwarf thumped his chest with his fist for emphasis.
You gotta do this sooner or later, so just man up and get it done. We'll go finish the quest. You'll be back to see the sunrise in less than an hour.
Lucas looked over at the woman beside him.
Dawn, you sure you want me to do this?
Of course. I know all about their quest.
Dawn smiled, and her features lit up. As far as Lucas was concerned, she was even more radiant than the still-blocked sun.
It's important. If you don't rescue the sages from Xunguan's vile dungeon, then I dread to think of what will happen. Without them, the heroes of the next generation will never be trained in the arts and skills needed to overcome the evil forces seeking to dominate our world.
Lucas's earlier frown returned as he closed his eyes and tried to process what was going on. He pressed a hand against his forehead and rubbed his eyes as he weighed his desire to remain exactly where he was against his distaste for doing what was being asked of him. It took him a minute to process what was happening, chiefly because she was the main reason he had never taken the quest and had advanced in the game. Yet, here she was, the driving force pressuring him into doing it. Her face, in his heart, was both a lure and a curse in its own way. He both hated that she looked He both hated that she looked nearly identical to Yu Hua and loved the familiar presence that she brought with such similar attitude and appearance.
No, even if she's not the one asking, I need to do this for myself. I need to move on, at least a little. And here's a good place to start as any.
He thought, relenting at last.
If you guys need a fourth for the class selection quest, I'll do it. Just share the info.
What? Really?
The short girl's eyes widened in surprise.
This worked? Are we going to be the first people to group with negative?
Oh, thanks so much.
The gruff man extended a hand to pull Lucas up from the ground.
I'm Malik. This is Nick. And this is Valerie. And we'll make sure this quest goes smoothly for you.
As Lucas stood up, Nick also extended his hand.
Yeah, thanks for...
This is Nick.
Nick. Yeah, thanks a lot for joining us. I'll share the quest right away. Quest info right away. Do you need the equipment set to do it?
Nick was referring to the items like the wand, sword, shield, bow, scepter, daggers, and staff that were required to finish the class selection quest. Every person was given the items as soon as they started the game, but since Lucas had been playing for 7 months in real life, or over 21 months in game time, it was natural to assume that he might have pawned them and bought something else with the money, or merely forgotten where he stashed them.
Yeah, I have the gear,
Lucas said, dusting himself off as he got to his feet and looking over the quest that had just been shared with him.
I can pick my backpack up in town if you don't mind our swinging through. It has the stuff in it.
Quest. The teachers of old. The chieftain of the Were-Rat tribe, Kulako, believes you have the potential to overthrow the Imperium's tyrannical grip on Hess. He has sensed great potential in you, but worries that you will never be strong enough to break the shackles that have enslaved and tormented the non-human residents of Hess without the proper training. The only trainers worthy of such astounding potential have all been locked away by the Imperium, and their skills as educators are no longer available on the younger generations, as they have been left to rot within the dungeon of the oppressive Lady Shun Guan. You must rescue them, earn their trust, and convince them to teach you. Without their knowledge, the power to save the people of Hess will forever elude you.
That's a good spot to stop.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that's the end of the 2700.
Cool. Thanks, Charles, for requesting this one. I'm really excited to get started on this. So how far are you into writing it?
Oh, it's completely done. We're on the editing phase.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, so we'll be...
War Eternus 5 at the moment, but it's kind of hard to get going again.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, War Eternus 5 is kind of... I don't know if you know what I mean, but like each book I try to do, I try to like craft it around an idea. And so like War Eternus 1 was crafted around like the need for impetus and like defining who you are versus the current. War Eternus 2 was the need for sacrifices and how every decision you make has severe consequences. You know, War Eternus 3, I tried to craft it around the concept of like the idea that no matter, like if you don't get rid of the weaker parts, it's going to inevitably cost you and you won't have a say, like especially given the ending, you know what I'm talking about. And then War Eternus 4 was kind of a struggle of apathy versus action in terms of like political place, you know, especially coming up in like when I was writing it, that was a big deal. And so with War Eternus 5, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to put for the general message of it. Like I have the plot line, but I don't know how I'm going to like craft that, like the message I want into it when I don't have a clear message.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully I'll be able to present two sides of an idea and see if I can get them fairly balanced, but we'll see.
Do you feel like you'll like just write and then eventually the message will present itself?
Yeah. I've had a few ideas because luckily enough, I know enough people who've been through a lot of conflict. You know, I don't mean conflict in terms of like, oh, this is at home. I mean, like, have actually been through armed conflict enough that they can talk about the issues. And I'm still talking to a few of them and trying to get some ideas of what's going to happen. And I'm studying some more history because there's a lot of interesting things with the, you know, Agathocles, right?
Who? Agathocles? What?
Right, or do you know, like, to put it better, do you know the Sicilian king who basically murdered every single person?
No, I don't.
Ability?
No. Wow. That's intense.
Yeah, he wrote a ton of stuff, but it's hard for me to get my hands on it because I don't think a lot of it's translated and I don't think a lot of it's kept well. but there was a Sicilian king, and he's one of my favorite characters in history, because everyone else, like, they always talk about, like, oh, if you want to be really rich and powerful in the world, you've got to do all these good things, and you've got to keep the people's favor and everything. And what he did was he was the son of a potter, like the lowest of the lowest of the lowest of people. He started off, and he goes in, like, he's the son of a potter, and he joins the military, and he saves up his money, and he advances ranks through merit. And then instead of becoming like a standard contributing member of society, he takes all of his influence and he pays Carthage to attack his kingdom. So Carthage comes in with all of these people and is attacking. And while everyone's worried about it, they send, like, the military's home and everything, he just kills off the Senate and all the people and takes over the place.
Wow.
And Carthage is like, give us that money. And so he's like, sure. And then he ends up kind of like backstabbing. And it's just this beautiful, like, political, like, his story would make an amazing HBO play.
Sure. Sounds like it.
But he died of incredibly old age, uncontested. And he had a ton of lessons for people who were doing evil stuff. And so I want to see how I can work some of his morals into it. So normally I work with, like, other people who are on the more righteous side, but given Lee's turn during book 4, I want to see, like, how you can do it from the other side. Right. How you can kind of lead a country after you murder it, or murder the existing infrastructure, which isn't always a bad thing. Like, a lot of times people get really upset with what happened to Korea in, like, the early 1900s, when they were, like, their nobility were completely upset. But then they forget the fact that every single person who was kind of lost power during the transfer in the occupation. Like, the Japanese occupation was horrible. Not trying to say that was a good thing, but the people who lost power that everybody was fighting for had like 50 or 60 slaves apiece, and like they were horrible people generally. And so when they lost power, there was like the people weren't rallying behind them, and it was easy for the occupation to occur. And it was a problem because nobody was like, everybody in the infrastructure was like, we don't really care about that guy who would like rape his slaves. That's not our priority to protect.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for either one of them. Heroic Villain, obviously, that's going to come out in the next couple weeks?
Hopefully it'll come out. Let's see, it's Sunday. Hopefully it'll come out before next Sunday.
Nice.
Sweet.
We're hoping to drop it by then, and then I'm just trying to like. And I've been writing about 3,000 to 5,000 words a day, so hopefully we'll get the next War Eternus book out. Let's see, it's March, so we're hoping to get it out by the very start of May.
Okay.
And then we're hoping to get the next book out, which is a different series, by June.
By
June.
By Jim?
June.
By June. I thought you said by Jim.
Like, by the end of June, we're hoping to get the next book out. So we're going to hopefully have 3 books out.
Cool. Awesome. Well, cool. Thanks again for requesting that, Charles. I'm sure we'll be doing another Sound Booth Theater Live of that exclusively very soon. But we're going to move on to Breaking Bard. Do you want to stick around with us? Or do you want to peace out?
I'm going to hang out for a bit because I've heard good things about Breaking Bard.
Okay, cool. All right. So AJ Wiseman.
Have you talked to the guy calls himself AJ Wiseman on Amazon? Have you talked to him before? I
have not. He sent us an email with the character descriptions and the script, and I forwarded that to you.
Yep, got it.
Got it.
So what do you know about this guy? Because honestly, like, I've heard good things about it. It has a very few number of reviews, and I was like, when I tried to find out more information, because when I saw like you were doing this guy as well as us, I was like, I want to hear more about this guy, and I had trouble finding anything. And it was just hard to like dig my teeth. Like, I tried to dig my teeth in and find out more about this writer, because I'm always interested in new writers. And I just couldn't find much. So if you got any information or dirt on the guy, let me know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we can dig up some dirt.
Oh, yeah. We need like tons of dirt. I need to be able to blackmail him into like putting more women on his cover, because apparently like 3 is not enough. We need at least 10 women on his cover, and potentially I would like 4 food items if that's possible.
Yeah. Well, here's a couple right here. A couple food items. Very, very nice cover. I think. I
believe women.
Yeah, it could have more. It could have more beautiful women.
Yeah,
you have more,
but you can't. They're not food items.
I think 3's enough. I think 3 is a good amount. If it was 7, then I think that it would just be distracting.
8.
You know.
So I've
Eight.
heard more that Breaking Bard is about a bard breakout dancing. So it's a break dancing bard.
That is a great possibility. Why don't we read the description here and see whether or not Charles is bullshit or not?
I'm reading the comments. Like, I'm just reading the comments. This is your people.
What are they? Oh God, no! That was. Oh no! I've just done.
So Darren is homeless. Darren is homeless. When he's offered the deal of a lifetime, get paid to break dance as a bard online. Virtual reality game, but the break dancing is real. He's tasked with awakening Angelica by the sweet moves of his hips. This crippled girl who spent 10 years in the game can't wake up because she has not met the Darren thrust. As he embarks on his search for her poontang, Darren.
All right.
That's exactly obviously what it says.
That is also. There's also another version here that. Just to give the context, I will read. Yeah, so pretty much replace breakdancing with other words. Darren is homeless when he's offered the deal of a lifetime. Get paid to play a bard in an online virtual reality game? The catch? He's tasked with awakening Angelica, a crippled girl who's spent 10 years in the game. Oh, that's kind of cool. As he embarks on his search for her, Darren goes on adventures, learns the lore of the land, and finds that being a bard is more fun than it seemed. But appearances can deceive, especially in a VR world. And Darren is taken aback to discover the girl he's been assigned to track may not even be the right one. When he finds not 1 but 3 girls who fit the bill for Angelica, Darren is forced to stretch his talents and skills to investigate them all, thrusting himself into the middle of warring players, corrupted guilds, and, pardon the burp, forgotten lore. As secrets bubble to the surface and chaos looms, Darren's investigation puts the girls under threat, and he's forced to decide where his loyalties lie. Can he uncover the truth and save them before it's too late? And more importantly, does he have what it takes to be a bard? Read Breaking Bard, Serenade now, and immerse yourself in a LitRPG adventure about breakdancing, sexy goodness, and a wily hero who doesn't quite know what he's gotten himself into, but he does know how to breakdance.
I like the warning at the bottom. That's my favorite part. Graphic violence, revenge, swear words. They have to warn you about swear words. It's like they're going through the American cultural assumptions on what is bad. Like graphic violence, that's totally okay. Still can happen in a PG movie. But revenge and swear words, nope, PG-13 now. Conspiracy harassment, still PG-13. Forbidden gods, we're getting up there. Gratuitous sex, now we're in the R.
Yeah.
They went through the list of like in ascending order of what's culturally acceptable in America. Like if you have 2 characters doing the same thing that made any human being on Earth, that is horrible and you can't show it to children. If you have somebody's head split open by a katana with like their brains gushing out, well, that's okay. You can have kids look at that.
Yeah.
I actually had a teacher talk to me yesterday and was like, your book seems like it could be up for our school. Like we would love to show that in the classroom. And I was like, but it has a ton of gratuitous violence. And they're like, yeah, but there's no swear words or sex, so we're good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess that little warning is just gonna be a warning for everybody who's watching that this could be a cringe theater.
Could be a cringe theater in public. A public cringe theater. A public cringe theater in this amazing
Swanky hotel. Place. So while we are reading any kind of cringe, any kind of stuff that you might want to hide your kids, hide your wife, or hide your husband for, I'll be looking around, or we'll all be looking around to make sure there are no children around us either. So be warned, this could be NSFW cringe theater material. Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husband. All right.
Do you actually do cringe theater usually, or is this like only because you've got them trapped in a hotel?
Oh, do I normally do cringe theater?
Yeah.
I haven't. I don't think I have. No, yes, I have. I definitely have. Yeah, with Andrea.
Oh,
it was like
doing it. I watch cringe theater quite often, and usually you're not there, and I'm just like, dude, you have the perfect voice for cringe theater.
Oh, thank you,
girl, and you can play the creepy guy, and it would be
play the creepy guy. I do it well.
Yeah,
I do it.
Well, you got like the deeper voice, and Justin plays a perfect awkward female.
I do. Wait,
Justin, Jeff plays a perfect awkward female.
backwards. There we go. Now it makes sense.
All right.
Sorry.
So let's go through these characters.
Jeff's work, thinking to myself, like, how does he go from like the top of the spectrum to the bottom in terms of tone? And then I was like, it's because he has to play every role in the bedroom.
Are we still screen sharing? No, we're not. Okay,
No,
we're good.
We're done. We're done.
We're done that.
All right, so let's look through these character descriptions. Darren Holmes. Appearance, about 24 years of age. He's a bard. Race is half-elven. Pointed ears. He carries a lute. Also has companion muses, small and fairy-like, that help him fight, Arya and later Forte. Short brown hair and light brown eyes. Personality. Cautious and tries to be analytical, but often misses things. Protective and ready to fight and die for what he believes in. Tries to appear confident on the outside, but internal feelings are often conflicted. Can be mischievous and a little mouthy with his comments, and he often smirks. He tries to be a gentleman, but inevitably isn't able to resist good-looking girls. Sounds like a dude. All right, Leah. Appearance, about 23 years of age, warrior class, human race, blonde, curly hair that reaches below her shoulders, has gray, blue, or gray eyes. Has blue or gray eyes. Blue or gray? Is it? Which one?
It's blue or gray, depending on the way the sun hits it.
I guess.
Yeah. Or depending which one you're looking at. One's blue, one's gray.
Oh, she's like David Bowie.
She is David
She's
Bowie.
David Bowie.
It says that in personality.
Oh, I see. Her clothes lean towards practicality, but look good because she has a good figure. Other than fighting, she cooks as a profession. Personality, stubborn, a little clumsy, kind-hearted, and honorable. Very quick to anger, but ready to admit when she's wrong. Relies on and trusts her friends no matter what, but only after she knows them long enough. All right, Kitty Silver, a.k.a. Catherine Mendelsohn. Appearance, about 25 years old. Druid class, elvish race. Silver hair that is chin/shoulder length. Green eyes and pale skin. Her outfit is usually plant-based. Okay, I think I remember her from the cover. Leaves, flower petals, and is figure-hugging and quite sexy. She's taller than Leah, but not as tall as Darren. She makes potions as a profession. Personality, flirtatious, observant, good at keeping secrets and acting, but is actually open-hearted and generous. Tends not to immediately confront people until she's gotten over the problem and is ready to face it. Other details, addicted to stealing. Is likely to have her hand in someone else's pocket because she can't help it, though it's not her profession. Hannah Song, I'm in, is an AKA. Appearance, about 18 years old, sorcerer class, animus race, has blue-black fox ears and a tail with a white tip. Okay, we saw her on the cover too. Not very easy to spot. She has Asian features, porcelain pale skin, long, straight, wavy, dark hair. Straight or wavy, but with purple eyes. She dresses in flowing black and purple robes. She's the shortest of them all and has a delicate, slim appearance. Personality, loves books, but is a surprisingly strong fighter who doesn't hesitate to attack/threaten others. Looks vulnerable and studious, but is quite sly. Very quick-witted, tends to see right through other people's personalities into what they're hiding. More honest than polite/humble, she sometimes makes cutting remarks, though she is very protective of the people she loves. All right. Context of the scene. Darren has entered the game as a bard to search for Angelica Dawson, but soon after he finds her supposed avatar, he learns that the information he was given might be wrong. Soon after making that discovery, he meets a beautiful druid called Kitty Silver, who likes him enough to invite him over for dinner at the home she shares with her two friends. Damn. Okay. So I think you should be Darren and narrate.
Cool.
And I'll do the rest of the characters.
That sounds
So
good.
here it is. Breaking Bard by A.J. Wiseman.
Start us off.
All right. Darren, this is Hannah Song. Hannah, Darren.
Silver said with an elegant gesture. I stood awkwardly before a young girl sitting in a plump armchair before a stone fireplace. She was dressed in flowing black and purple robes and was reading a book so large its covers were propped on the armrests of the chair, dwarfing her legs beneath it. Hi, I said with a wave. Still no response.
He's the bard with the book of lore.
Silver added, giving me a knowing wink. Immediately, Hannah looked up. I was hit with a piercing, lavender-eyed gaze, magnified by a pair of large, gold-rimmed glasses that almost, but not quite, concealed her oriental good looks. Though she wore a white lacy headband to keep back her long, dark hair.
I didn't want to interrupt you guys, but Colonel Sanders is about to leave. He's right behind you.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I thought I was Colonel Sanders.
Oh, but he's shaved off the goatee.
Yeah. Goatees are dumb.
Honestly, I couldn't tell with your
That's why he shaved it off.
It's a small amount.
Shaved it off?
All right, here we go.
That's to miss Colonel Sanders. I apologize. Carry on with the reading.
Okay.
I'll let him know. Colonel Sanders called was jacket bag, but also sick jacket. Okay, yeah, where was I? Though she wore a white lacy headband to keep her long dark hair wispy strands kept escaping to brush her forehead and waft against the tops of her cheeks. She raised a hand to flick them aside in an automatic gesture as she studied me from head to toe.
I see. You're Desmond.
Darren, I corrected.
Sorry, I knew that. What kind of book is it? Can I see?
Hannah asked.
Wait a minute. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I knew that. What kind of book is it? Can I see?
Hannah asked. Just a book of lore for bard training, I replied. At her expectant gaze, I took my book of lore from my inventory. It materialized in my hand, and I held it out to her. Hannah picked up the thick tome, her slim arms dipping a little while she took on its weight. It was not as large as the one she was holding, but had thinner pages covered all over with foxing stains and cursive ink handwriting. She flipped it open and began skimming through the first few pages. I saw her flip slowly past A Royal Sacrifice, The Idle Lord, The Little Match Girl. When she encountered the lock on the next chapter, she stopped and looked up at me in dismay.
Okay, is this still Hannah? Okay.
Most of it's locked.
Well, I've only just started, I said, reaching up to scratch at the back of my head. I have to sing either one of these new chapters enough to enough people to unlock the next story.
I see.
Hannah said.
Well, it still looks promising. I've tried visiting many libraries to look for more information on the history of the city. This whole continent is part of the new expansion that came with the pods, you know. But even though it's been out for years, not much is known about the lore of some of the smaller kingdoms, including Rithmarck. Most of the books I've come across are boring and useless. The only ones of any interest that I've found are censuses with dates or for when different races began populating the kingdoms, or compendiums detailing the flora and fauna native to this area.
Silver gave me a long, suffering look.
She's a sorcerer,
she said, as if this explained everything.
I specialize in evocation magic,
Hannah said to me.
The highest beings I can evoke are usually mythological beings that remain unknown and locked away until someone finds them and learns how to control them. Part of my job is to discover their existence in this new realm and figure out the quests needed to conquer and enslave them.
All this talk of enslaving deities coming from a cute little girl with a button nose and innocent expression. I see. So, what is it, a toss-up between necromancy and evocation? I smiled, meaning it as a joke. I was pretty sure she wouldn't be into dead, ugly zombies.
Necromancy, evocation, chaos and creation, elementalism, the list goes on.
Hannah said absently.
All very interesting, but I chose evocation because of the unique benefits that come with it.
Benefits?
The hard part is hunting them down. Once you've conquered and proven your mastery over them, evoking a being is not that hard.
Hannah said.
But you need to do a lot of research to get to that stage. It's time-consuming, but I get to read interesting stories, travel to far-off realms, and figure out which of thousands of quests are actually relevant. At the end of all that, once I reach a high enough level and successfully carry out the correct quest lines, I get to summon a bucket load of very powerful beings at the drop of a hat. Plus, as a trailblazing evocation sorcerer with a track record for delivering comprehensive quest guides, my pay is astronomical.
I glanced at Silver, who gave me a rueful shrug.
She earns enough to support herself, and then some,
she said, by way of explanation.
This whole house belongs to her.
Wow. I once dabbled in necromancy years ago during my early days in Erythia, because I liked the idea of controlling zombies. But now I wondered if I had missed a valuable opportunity for earning a living. I had no idea evocation could be so profitable. I gazed around the magnificent living room, noting the rare tri-horned lynx. What's that? Noting the rare tri-horned lynx carpeting and fairy light chandelier, the huge stained glass window rosette out in the entry hall, and the glimpse of extensive lawns and the fading daylight outside the nearby French doors. I could barely believe that this huge mansion in the heart of the inner merchant circle belonged to just one girl.
The house may be mine, but I love sharing it with you, Kitty.
Hannah said with a sweet smile at Silver.
And Leah, too. It really beats having this whole place to myself. Glad to hear it.
A happy voice sounded from beyond the hallway, followed by footsteps approaching us.
Because I might have made a bit of a mess in the kitchen. Anywho, dinner's ready, so let's...
By Havaria. Okay, Aria's influence was getting to me, but I couldn't help it because standing right in front of me, clad in a white apron over a blue dress and with her blonde hair tied high on her head and a long curly ponytail, was the girl from the canal, the fake Angelica Dawson.
See, I was right. Wait, which one's Aria?
Aria, I think, is her... the
first one.
Or the first one? No, that's...
Oh, it's one of the fairies, I guess.
Right.
See, I was right. They do know each other.
Aria whispered in my ear before ducking back to sit in my pocket. I nodded vaguely as I stared.
Oh, I forgot to introduce you because we're cooking. I know how you hate being distracted while you're busy in the kitchen.
Silver began, not sounding in the least bit sorry.
Anyway, Leah, this is Darren. I invited him over for dinner, so we've met.
Fake Angelica and I said at the same time. Or Leah. The name sounded so much like a nickname for Angelica. She eyed me with annoyance written all over her face, and I smoothed my face into a neutral expression.
You have?
Hannah asked.
When? He came looking for me at the guild.
Leah said with a heavy frown that deepened when I held my hand out to her. She ignored it, and eventually I let it drop. That's right, I said, unperturbed. I recognize you. You helped me out of the canal before you suddenly disappeared. I smiled as I drank in the sight of her. She looked so different from the rough, leather-clad woman who had saved me that day. Her dress was simply cut, and the ties from her lacy apron only hinted at her hourglass figure, while the scoop neck showed the barest hint of cleavage. Her feet were clad in thin white ballet shoes, and her legs were bare under the skirt, so I had a good view of her athletic thighs and calf muscles. I knew she was the same girl as the warrior from the pictures Dawson had showed me. But the sight of her in the simple dress threw me for a loop. In short, I couldn't take my eyes off her. What was wrong with me? Silver was right by my side. She too looked gorgeous in her leafy bodice and long side-slit skirt. Plus, I'd already made out with her and knew there was a really good chance she was the real Angelica. I took a deep breath and told myself to stop staring. I was behaving like a teenager.
The guild?
Silver asked, her brows raised.
You aren't in that guild, are you? He can't be. He's just level 4.
Hannah said in a matter-of-fact tone.
No offense.
She added softly to me.
But you have your name and level on display, so of course I looked.
Then she spoke up.
That guild is very elite and only take on the best, so they say.
She said with a slight mocking twist of her lips. It's okay. And yeah, I've heard the same thing. They usually only take those above level 30, and I'm hardly there yet. Silver and Leah exchanged a look that I couldn't read. Then Leah inhaled deeply, pulled out her ponytail, and began massaging her head.
I'm getting a headache, just thinking about them. And the food is getting cold. No, wait, that's Silver. But why did you want to meet Leah?
Silver asked me as we walked into the dining room.
Do you know each other?
I glanced at Leah. She shook her head at Silver and gave me another annoyed look before she took off her apron and went to hang it up in the kitchen next door. Not really. I just heard she was in the Guild of Aurelian Knights. Someone I met in Starry Vale said it was one of the best guilds and mentioned that I should try to talk to Leah if I wanted to join, because she's unusually nice and helpful to newcomers. I thought it was worth a go if it might help me get into a guild. I didn't know how exclusive they are at the time. I gambled on flattery, figuring a little bit of it couldn't hurt. I need to get into their good books if I wanted to hang around Silver. Leah shot another look at Silver and breathed out an incredulous huff.
A likely story.
She flicked a gold curl over her shoulder, and a faint scent of vanilla and honey wafted toward me. I tore my eyes away from her and accepted a bowl of what looked like blue mash from Hannah.
I have never met him before in my life.
Leah told Silver in a quiet aside.
And it's been a while since I went to Starry Vale.
She eyed me suspiciously. I gave her an unconcerned shrug, then ladled out some mash before passing it back to Hannah. She was sitting opposite me, with Silver and Leah seated to my right and left, respectively, at the circular table. Aside from the potatoes, there was roast meat that looked as if it might be deer, a fresh salad with what looked like wild vegetables and herbs, orange-spotted mushrooms, and even a bottle of wine. I hesitantly tasted a spoonful of the blue paste and was instantly hit with the rich, smooth taste of potato, butter, chives, and garlic.
Hey, what the hell are orange-spotted mushrooms? That sounds like it could be interesting or horrifying.
Yeah.
Mushrooms with orange spots?
I mean, yeah, is that an actual thing, or is that just like a thing in that fantasy world? Because that seems unique. I mean, am I wrong? Is it my southern retardedness that has fooled me into not knowing this? Like I'm just acting ignorant, or is there actually orange spotted mushrooms is a common thing and I just didn't know about it?
I've never heard of them, but I'm willing to bet they're magical, and he's gonna trip real hard now.
Ooh.
Okay, carry on with your druggies.
Yep.
Just the right amount of salt and pepper. This is amazing, I said to Leah in awe. You made this? Leah pursed her lips and nodded, but didn't say anything. Boy, she was a tough nut to crack.
Well,
Hannah said, breaking the awkwardness.
now that you've finally met her, Darren, do you still want Leah's help to get into the guild?
All three girls looked up from their meal at me. For some weird reason, I had the feeling that my answer to this simple question meant a great deal, though I couldn't understand why. I am undecided, but I'm leaning towards no, I said finally. I met them in the Misty Woods today while training, but they didn't seem like a nice bunch, to be honest. Leah said, though her eyes lightened a little at my words.
They aren't. And I've left the guild anyway, so even if you did want to join them, I wouldn't be able to help you.
I shrugged and waited for her to elaborate, hoping she would mention why she had left, but she stayed silent and looked down at her food, chewing slowly.
So, the Misty Woods,
Silver said, nudging me.
how did it go?
It was okay, I replied, going for a nonchalant tone. After a moment's pause, I noticed both Hannah and Silver's gazes still on me, though Leah hadn't looked up until she was waiting too. Silver broke the silence first.
So, the bears left you alone?
She asked. I pursed my lips, then set my fork down. All right, they crushed me, I muttered, my neck and cheeks flushing. I got killed 3 times.
Finally, a guy who admits to dying.
Leah blurted, as if she couldn't stop herself. She blushed when I looked at her.
Those bears are a menace. Depending on the wind, even a strong warrior can get killed if he makes a stupid mistake and gets downwind of them. They also sometimes rove around in pets, unlike normal bears. Yeah, you were lucky you managed to get out.
Silver said, reaching out to touch my arm.
But why didn't you go hunting alone in the south? There are better areas with mobs for your level, like the Glass Bay and the Frosted Marshes.
I hadn't known that. Well, I guess I just like getting into trouble. I smiled wryly at her, and she returned it, her eyes dancing with amusement when they met mine. For a moment, it felt as if we were back in the Raven's Dare. Hannah cleared her throat, her eyes on Silver's hand resting on my arm.
More pertinently, why do you want to fight while you train? Why not just hang out on the streets and bars? Singing and playing songs to raise your level. You're a bard, you can do that.
I know I can, said as Silver withdrew her hand. But I'm used to taking on a fighting class, and being a bard feels just a little...
Wimpy?
Leah said with a curve to her lips.
I thought so too. But I've met a bard or two who actually got very strong when they hit the higher levels. When they learned enough songs to make the monsters dance to their tune.
Really? I asked, fascinated. Arya had tried to tell me as much on the journey back to Rithmarck today, but I'd assumed she was just trying to cheer me up.
Yeah, but it does take a lot of time for you to level up enough to get there, from what I understand of it. Playing at inns is not a bad way to gain experience and pass through the lower levels. It might even be faster.
Hannah added with a meaningful look. I shook my head and smiled. But I could already tell that she just wanted me to unlock more of my book of lore for her.
Well, whatever you choose to do,
Silver said.
You know you don't have to do it alone. Aren't bards natural party players? You can hang out with us to fight. I, for one, wouldn't mind hearing your serenades.
She gave me a flirtatious smile, and I grinned back. Was that her foot pressing against my calf? Leah gave a slight snort while Hannah eyed us and wiped her mouth with a napkin.
I'm going to get the dessert if you guys are done eating,
she said, pushing her chair back loudly.
Oh yes, please.
Hannah said.
Did you make lime sorbet and chocolate cake? Yes and yes,
Leah said with an indulgent smile.
It's simply rich, just the way you like it.
She bent to mock whisper in Hannah's ear as she left the table. Hannah laughed out loud. It's a beautiful sound, like the tinkling of a stream or the gentle chiming of bells. Her face lit up like the moon when she smiled happily at us. I was suddenly struck anew by how pretty she looked. Her features were more delicate than Silver's or Leah's, and her eyes looked luminous and soft when they weren't hidden behind her glasses, which she apparently only wore while reading.
Leah's an excellent cook,
Hannah said when she saw me staring at her. She picked up her glass of wine and took a long sip.
She's always out hunting and training, so she comes across all kinds of ingredients. We spend so much time here in Erythia, so it's a real godsend that she chose cooking as one of her main professions. She's learned tons of recipes and ingredients to replicate dishes from real life. Without her, we'd forget what our favorite food tastes like.
But can't you get your fix when you log out? I asked slowly. Like, for university or work?
Well,
Silver
none of
said.
us are...
Oh, sorry.
Well, none of us are studying or working full-time, actually.
Silver said. Really? And how do you support yourself? I asked. Then, realizing how nosy I sounded, I added, I mean, you seem to be in pods like I am, but I'm actually getting paid by someone to play and develop this character. I'm just curious about other setups, that's all.
Well,
Silver said.
Hannah's got her sponsors. I have my potion customers. And Leah... Actually, I can't remember how Leah earns most of her money. Probably by auctioning weapon ingredients or raw materials. But she's been playing the game for so long, she probably has some sort of passive income stream through it.
I see, I said. And did you girls meet in the game or outside? You seem so close.
In-game. I met Hannah first, then Leah. We just kept running across each other while questing or hanging around in town.
Silver smiled at Hannah.
It happened so often and over such a long period of time that we just sort of got to know each other better. Everyone else gets busy at some time or other and drops out. A new job, a new relationship, exams. It's hard to maintain friendships when real life interferes with game time. But the three of us are almost always here, so we've naturally become close.
Hannah nodded somberly as she refilled our wine glasses, topping mine up just slightly since I'd hardly touched it. I feel like wine. I think it's a wine night for me.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You'd think we'd get fat or crazy.
Already had it, yes.
Nice.
But it maintains our physical health very well, and I don't feel too different mentally.
She took a long sip of wine and gazed out the window beside her.
My family hates it, though. They try to stop me playing by making fun of me sometimes. They say it's like I'm Sleeping Beauty or in a coma or something, and that I don't care about them because I spent all my time away in a virtual world. But it's not like we could spend time together anyway. We're always so busy, and life here is so real. We meet interesting people all the time and visit fantastic places. Living here is better than in the real world, so I don't know what difference it makes even if we never leave. What's the matter?
Silver asked, her eyes scanning my expression. She reached out to take my hand.
Why do you look so shocked?
It's nothing. I hesitated for lack of anything else to say. What were the odds that I'd meet so many girls who fit the bill for Mr. Dawson's daughter who all knew each other? My mind blanked as I looked from Silver to Hannah and back again. I blinked rapidly, trying to absorb what I'd just heard. Well, it's just that my sister used to think that way too. She gave me so much grief until I got her to try out the game for herself. I swallowed and stopped talking before my mind could wander too far into the past. I tried not to go there these days.
Okay, so, man, we still have...
Oh, just a page and a half.
Oh, okay, all right. All right.
You must be one of them.
Okay, Hannah...
Yeah.
You must be one of the lucky ones then. My family and Kitty's are ogres.
Hannah said, shaking her head.
Leah says hers are wonderful, but she never mentions anything else. So something must be dysfunctional in her life, or else she would log out more often.
Silver.
You know you just contradicted yourself and made us sound really pathetic.
Silver said dryly to Hannah. She smoothly reached out and plucked Hannah's wine glass from her hand, then drained it herself before the girl could protest.
It's just a life choice we made, and we are luckier than most because we get to choose.
She told me.
I don't know who that is. It's probably her. Some people are homeless and starving out there, but we earn enough in here to be independent and take care of ourselves. The laws are looser here too, so we can do what we want, even things that society might frown upon.
Hannah pouted, then muttered below her breath, almost too softly for me to hear.
Like sleeping with anything that walks on two legs.
I stared at her, then glanced quickly to Silver to see if she'd heard.
You have your hobbies, and I have mine.
Silver responded unabashedly, her chin in the air. Hannah rolled her eyes, and Silver winked at me. I cracked a smile back at her, then sipped a little of my own wine, which I'd neglected till then. It tasted delightful, with fruity caramel notes that lingered on my tongue, but it immediately made me feel a little lightheaded, despite how much I'd already eaten. I was about to reach for the bottle to find out what kind of wine it was when the sight of Leah emerging from the hallway distracted me.
Dessert is served,
She said, balancing two rattling plates on each arm.
Well, if I can just... Oops!
One of the plates began to slide off her arm, and she made a swooping motion to keep it on. She barely managed it, but then got stuck in an awkward pose with all four plates rattling against each other. Since her arms were clasped together and pressing against her breasts, I couldn't help but notice how the swell of her bosom rose in mouth-watering mounds above the neckline of her dress.
A little help, please? I'm coming,
Silver said, shooting up from the chair while I gaped. Then, feeling eyes on me, I turned and caught Hannah's gaze. She leaned across the table and murmured to me,
You ask a lot of questions. Still, Kitty likes you and seems to trust you. But I have to warn you that if you take advantage of her, I know some minor demigods that will eviscerate you slowly. You'll feel every inch of intestine as it slides out of you. Also, Leah makes a mean tripe stew.
she added with a slow wink. Her lashes were thick and lush, and her slanted purple eyes gleamed from under them with an unholy light, belying the innocence of the tiny smile on her rosebud lips.
We try all cuisines. We're just adventurous like that. Perhaps you might be too?
Hannibal Lecter much? I smiled weakly at this unexpected side to Hannah, but made no comment, since I could tell she was more than a little tipsy. Instead, I got up to move a chair out of Silver's way. Careful now, you don't want to hurt yourself. Hannah gave an imperceptibly small nod of approval.
Yummy.
She said, licking her lips delicately with a small pink tongue as the other girls began to set the plates down.
It looks delicious. I just love your cooking, Leo.
And scene.
That scene. All right, cool. So it's interesting character development here. I think really kind of long dialogue. Maybe it could be tightened up a little bit. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's hard to say without like the full context, you know, like without the full like, because if this is coming off of like a high octane action scene and then there's another one afterwards, like it might be just what you need at that point,
right?
You know?
Yeah. Well, thank you, AJ Wiseman, for requesting Bar to the Bum. Please request again with another interesting scene if you feel like it. It seems like everybody wanted to hear it. So, all right. And lastly, we will check out what is it called, the
breaking point, or
Let's see. Damn.
Where's the dang thing?
Where's the damn browser? There it is. All right, the player Blackout.
Player Blackout.
And let's take a look at the cover here. Player Blackout. Interesting cover. Kind of an Iceman thing going on with this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, I don't know. The thing on his chest is silly.
I think it's Frozone.
Frozen.
Frozone.
What is that? Oh, from yeah. Yeah, he looks just like him actually. Frozone from The Incredibles.
Yeah.
All right, so where is?
You think you got an angry black wife waiting on him at home?
Yeah, probably. Doesn't everybody?
No.
Oh.
Not everybody's so fortunate, Jeff. Stop flexing your privilege there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Delicious privilege.
Yeah, I didn't mean to make you guys feel bad.
Oi.
Okay, where is it?
Oi.
Where is this damn script we're supposed to use?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. What is going on here? Sorry guys, I just having a hard time finding it. Breaking Bard, changing faces, which is went to Dungeon Land. Ignite. Yeah, the sample. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Gin Tamer, no. Nova, locked in. Relevant Jack. Okay, we're not finding it. So, I'm just going to pick up the free sample. Oh, wait, it's on Kindle Unlimited. Yeah, but we'll just do this. Okay. Oh, geez. Oh, I forgot. I'm screen sharing. Oh, duh, no. There we go. We're back. Okay, so no direction. Oh, no, that's, jeez. Here it is. No direction. We are reading The Player Blackout by Lucas Flint. Thank you, Lucas Flint, for requesting, and we will see from chapter 1. So, how about I'll do the narrating here.
Sounds good.
We'll do chapter 1. Looks like chapter 1's very short. We'll do 2 chapters. Both chapter 1 and chapter 2 are very, very short. So I'll narrate. I'll be the main character because it's first person, and then you will do everybody else.
Sounds good.
All right. Chapter 1. It's amazing how fast your life can change in the blink of an eye. One moment, you're a young police officer on his first day on the job, eager and ready to prove yourself and serve your community. You just bought your first home, you're engaged to your longtime girlfriend, and you're even thinking about children. Oh, and your dad was just recently confirmed to the Supreme Court, too, which is pretty cool as well. But then you lose all that because of one idiot who robbed a bank, decided to take you on a high-speed chase down a crowded highway during rush hour. And then you get into a car crash due to the actions of said idiot and die. And that's that. Everything you had, gone. Blink of an eye. There's nothing you can do about it. Now, of course, I don't know that I'm dead. If I was really dead, would I be able to think any of this? I was taught about heaven and hell and all that in Sunday school when I was a kid, but I'm not sure how much of that I ever really believed. And if I was dead, was this heaven or hell? The place I stood in was a pure white, well, nothingness. For as far as the eye could see, it was just empty nothingness. No ground, no sky, no buildings or people or animals. Hell, there wasn't even any wind. It was pure emptiness. It was also eerily quiet and had no discernible scent that I could smell. Freakiest thing, I didn't have a body either. When I looked down at myself, I saw nothing. I didn't see my freshly cleaned, brand new police officer uniform. I didn't see the scar on my left palm I got when I cut my hand when I was cutting some apples when I was 13. I didn't see my shiny police shoes or my holstered gun. I saw nothing. Nothing at all.
That's
Again,
always,
I wondered, what?
that's always helpful. When you see nothing at all, that's nice. Usually I see black sometimes when I close my eyes, but nothing is impressive.
Right.
Anyway, I got to run. I got a thing with Ramon and them, so take it easy.
All right, Charles. Later,
Cheers,
man.
Charles. Good hanging with you.
Again, I wondered, was this heaven or hell? Or maybe it was that purgatory place that Catholics believed in. I was raised Baptist, so purgatory wasn't part of my theology, but maybe the Baptists were wrong and the Catholics were right. That would annoy my grandpa. He was a staunch Baptist minister who didn't care much for the Catholic Church, for sure.
Don't worry, Niall.
Said a voice behind me I did not recognize.
You aren't in heaven, hell, or even purgatory. You aren't even dead.
I whirled around, although it felt more like turning a camera around than actually moving like a human being, to see who had spoken. Sitting behind a desk directly across from me, as if he was supposed to be there, was an Arab man I had never seen before. He wore a fine blue suit which did not have a single crest or stain anywhere. Probably crease. His short beard was extremely well trimmed, putting my old goatee to shame. He wore thick sunglasses, although I wasn't sure why he needed them because it wasn't that bright in here. Then again, I didn't see the sun, stars, or any sort of artificial light, which made me wonder how I was seeing anything at all. "Who are you?" I said. "And how do you know my name?" The man smiled.
I know everything about you, Niall Maxwell. Or should I say, Niall Maxwell II, son of Niall Maxwell I. A fine Texas judge who was recently confirmed to the Supreme Court after Justice Peterson's untimely death. You are 25 years old, an inhabitant of Kane, Texas, where you recently started working for the Kane City Police Department. You are also engaged to Sally De Leon, also of Kane, Texas, a registered nurse who you have been dating for 2 years. She was quite relieved when you finally asked her to marry you, I heard.
I bit my lower lip. Privacy wasn't really a thing nowadays, thanks to the way the internet penetrated nearly every facet of our lives, but I found the way this man rattled off my every detail, even down to how Sally felt about me finally proposing to her, unnerving, to say the least, especially since I had never even seen him before. "I see you've done your homework." The man raised a folder off his desk with my name, Niall Maxwell, stamped across it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I was never a very good student in school. One of my fellow agents did most of the footwork on you, although considering how much you and your fiancé used social media, I doubt it took him long to collect all of the pertinent information. And more. Much, much more.
I reached out with a hand toward the folder, but stopped when I realized that I had a body now. I looked down and saw that I looked much the same way I did when the car crashed, which was a very odd feeling.
Sorry about that,
said the man as he lowered my folder down onto his desk.
I have been informed that there are still some issues with the body scanning process, which means that sometimes the mind is uploaded before the system finishes scanning the body. I've been told that being a disembodied mind is very disturbing and potentially traumatic.
Disturbing, yes, I said, feeling my body just to make sure it was real. Traumatic? Yes, I'll find out. I'm pretty tough. I can handle things most other people can't. The man raised an eyebrow.
Confidence is a good quality to have, but there is a special abode in hell for the elegant.
So I take it this isn't hell? I said, looking around at the white void in which we stood. Explains the absence of fire and brimstone and red-horned demons poking the damned with pitchforks.
As I said, this is neither heaven nor hell,
Said the man.
but it is an afterlife. Or your afterlife, anyway. If you choose to make it not.
I looked directly at the man.
Forgive me for my
Forgive me for my rudeness, but I find it a little unfair how you know everything about me. Down to the color of my underwear, probably. But I don't even know your name.
It's Charles,
Said the man simply.
Charles Omar. I am an agent from the Department of Realty, assigned to help you and about 5 others smoothly make the transition from the real world to this one.
I frowned. I'd heard about the Department of Virtual Reality, of course, established 14 years ago in 2029 by President Michael Crane. The Department of Virtual Reality enforced the law in the realm of VR, which had exploded in popularity in America and abroad with the release of VR MMORPGs like Capes Online and others. I only knew this because Sally was a big political junkie, and she had a tendency to rant to me about whatever the current political hot topic of the day was. Although I couldn't give a darn about any of it myself. What do you mean by transition there, Chuck? I said. Do you mind if I call you Chuck? Charles' left eye twitched slightly.
No, I don't. As for what I mean, I think it is time I told you exactly what happened to you.
I know what happened to me, I said, resting my hands on my belt. I was driving down the highway trying to catch that idiot Bryce Cunningham, and then we got into a huge car wreck because he slammed into me, and then we crashed into a fuel truck, and, well, after that, I don't know what happened. I assumed I died, but given how I'm talking to you, I think that's probably not a safe assumption to make.
It is not.
Chuck agreed.
You are correct on the other details, however. On the morning of Tuesday, the 2nd of January, 2043, at exactly 10 o'clock in the morning, you went on a high-speed chase to capture the wanted criminal Bryce Cunningham, who had robbed Kane First National Bank that same day. You chased Mr. Cunningham for approximately 10 minutes and 31 seconds before the two of you crashed into an automated fuel truck, killing both of you, as well as killing about a dozen other people on the busy highway at the same time.
I grimaced. Oh, I didn't know that. Chuck waved off my concern.
It isn't relevant to this discussion. Anyway, both of you technically were killed, or at least your bodies were, but human beings, hope you understand, are more than just our bodies. We have souls, minds, things. Whoops. Minds, things which separate us from animals.
I cracked a grin. I don't know. My dog Joey was pretty smart, although the only words he seemed to understand were walk and food. Chuck continued as if I hadn't said a word.
Allow me to welcome you to your second chance at life. To a second life, you might say. No longer will you live with a flesh and blood physical body. Instead, you dwell in virtual reality. I welcome you to Project Second Life, where those who died prematurely get a chance at life itself.
Second chance.
What's that?
Second chance. Okay.
Second chance.
So actually, that was longer than I thought it was going to be because it's like really like I'm looking at it through.
It's dense.
But yeah, you know what? It reminds me of
Reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool,
I don't know. We got time for one more chapter? It's pretty long.
Yeah.
It's pretty long. But yeah. So yeah, that was later Blackout by Lucas Flint. So thank you, Lucas, for requesting that. And I think it was well written.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
So far. So remember, guys, everything that we have read today is the links are in the description below, and so you can check those out. Remember to go check out the Gamelit Society Facebook group if you've never been there. I think most of the people here have. So anyway, whoa.
Thank you to.
I'm getting really tired.
You're getting tired.
Yeah,
We need to recharge.
We need to recharge.
Thank you to all of the authors that submitted: Charles Dean, AJ Wiseman, and Lucas Flint. Thank you, Charles, for joining us. Thank you, all of you, for watching, joining. Don't forget to like. And yeah, I think it's time for us to get some food, some drinks,
more alcohol.
Yeah. So it's been great.
Yeah,
it's been a slice.
Everyone, check out all the links in the description. And yeah, off to Austin. More Austin.
More Austin.
Man, we're having a great time out here. I can't wait to meet up with Harem Cooper. And actually, later on this week, we're going to be doing a little SBTL of We Could Be Heroes. And we'll have Andrea Parsnow joining us for that one. So thank you guys for coming and hanging out. And we will see you later on this week. Watch out for notifications. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Later.
Ciao.